If you guys are looking for the best jerseys for the best prices, make sure you guys go check out Jaden's Jerseys. We have all your favorite teams in NBA, NFL, MLB, and college football and basketball. Best prices and the best quality. So make sure you guys go check out all of our selections at Jaden's Jerseys right now.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the TBT podcast. A big week in the first week of the NFL season. We're going to be breaking down some of the opponents the Chiefs are going to be playing and what transpired for them in week one.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the TBT podcast. The TBT podcast, TBT podcast, the TBT podcast.
Well, welcome back in, everybody. Week one is in the books. I know our Kansas City Chiefs did not get it done, but there's some silver linings. The Bengals took an L week one. The Buffalo Bills, the Chargers, a lot of the contenders in the AFC this season took L's in a major way. The first team that fell is, of course, our newest rival in the AFC is the Bengals. The Bengals, they took an L versus the Cleveland Browns. Let's get into what happened versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, a lot of people are talking about how Joe Burrow, he didn't have his best game because it was in the rain and it was raining. That's why he didn't play as good. And we kind of saw Skip Bayless kind of have his excuse, even though he trashed Mahomes on social media saying he's throwing the ball late and he has an interception. He lost to the Lions, and he shouldn't be losing to a team like the Lions. Well, he lost to the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow lost to the Cleveland Browns. And this is huge for the Chiefs because it's basically a fresh start for everyone. Everyone's kind of just at the same level. The only team that kind of went up was the Miami Dolphins, and I'll get to them here in a second. But the Bengals' offensive line, same year or different year, same problem. The Bengals offensive line did not look very good. And, these Bengals fans are trying to tell me, it's the Browns pass rush. The Browns just have a really good pass rush. They have a really good pass rush. You're putting almost $500 million plus into your offensive line. It has to produce. If you're going to put that much money into your offensive line, they have to start producing. But it seems like every single year when a new guy comes in, their offensive line is just not meshing. Maybe it starts meshing later on in the season, but what I saw in that Cleveland game was even Orlando Brown at times get beat bad. I know it was Myles Garrett, but still, he was getting beat bad. If Orlando Brown doesn't get that initial arm on them, he's getting beat because he's very slow on his feet. He's not going to move in front of the guy. He's slow on his feet, and if he doesn't get that initial on him, because he is about 6'9", 350, whatever he may be, he's a big, big, big tackle. So if he gets that initial arm on you, it's hard to get it off because he's such a big guy. But we didn't see Orlando Brown doing that. Their interior offensive line, I think Chris Jones has a big opportunity this season to eat up their interior offensive line. Now that Chris Jones is back, and we're going to talk about that because he's finally back, which it was a weird type contract, but we're going to get more into Chris Jones. But I think our defensive line is going to take advantage, especially in the middle part of this Bengals offense, because I just don't think their offensive line up the middle is that great. And I think there's something going on with T. Higgins as well. I think T. Higgins saw Joe Burrow get paid. He's wondering when his extension is going to be. Because he's a free agent. Jamar Chase is a free agent in the next season. So it's like, I think T. Higgins is looking at it like, hey, I don't want to be franchise tagged this offseason. Why did I get an extension as well? I think that was a big thing. And you kind of saw Tyler Boyd saying he's a really good receiver and he wants to get paid like it. That could be something there where, again, he's saying those types of things. That could be another problem inside the Bengals locker room. And you guys maybe hear me saying this, the Bengals are still going to be there at the end of the day. But Joe Burrow was one. He's got to get healthy. And that's not an excuse, but he's got to get healthy. He does not look like he should be out there on the football field right now. He can barely move. He's grabbing his knee a lot. I don't think Joe Burrow should be out there right now. That's one of my other takeaways from this game. Now, more on the Brown side of it, they ran the ball great. It seems like you're able to run the ball versus the Bengals a little bit. I think their D-line isn't as dominant as it was in years past. Deshaun Watson did not play great. Don't get me wrong. Deshaun Watson did not play to the level he should at all. But this is still excuse me. This is still a pretty good Cleveland Browns team. They can maybe make a playoff push. I know I had them out of the playoffs, but this is a team that could make the playoff push. But again, Cleveland, they got to get Deshaun Watson settled in. If they can get him settled in, they can get it done. I know they beat a good Bengals team in Cleveland, but I'm curious to see how they match up against the Bengals in Cincy. They always do well versus Cincy in Cleveland, but can they go on the road and beat Cincinnati later this season? That'll come all the way at the end of the season, so we'll be able to see if they can do that. But I'm curious to see what this Cleveland Browns team can be. I know I talked about it a couple weeks ago when they played the Chiefs in that last preseason game, but that's what I'm curious about is what this type of Kansas City Chiefs team is going to look like. This Cleveland Brown team is going to look like this season with Deshaun Watson back from a lot of time off this season. Moving on to another contender in the AFC, that was the Buffalo Bills. Joshua. What the hell was that? No disrespect to the Jets. They have a very good defense, but when Aaron Rodgers, which I hate to say he had that Achilles injury, because I really do feel bad for the Jets fans and the Jets organization trying to move into a new direction with a lot of hope. Kind of reminds me of what the Chiefs were trying to do back in '93. But Joe Montana didn't get hurt during the regular season. He got hurt during the playoffs, and it kind of knocked him out of the AFC Championship game. So there's kind of that feel to it of just the whole energy out of the stadium left. But shout out Zach Wilson for being able to make enough plays to get it done. But I'll tell you who is the best quarterback for the Jets last night. Joshua Patrick Allen. Joshua Patrick Allen stunk. And my thing is this. I would normally be saying it's week one, it's whatever. And I'm kind of like that with the Bengals. That's week one. But it's still kind of the same problems I'm seeing for the Bengals as well with the offensive line. But this, with Josh Allen, where it's the same things. Like he said, same stadium, same shit, different year. When is he going to stop trying to do too much and hurting his team? There was a time where it was 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 12, and he had probably 8 yards to go for the first down, and try to just face first jump over somebody, and could have just been knocked out of the game. And then he had about 15 yards in front of him, and he's throwing it 70 yards in double coverage, and Whitehead picks it off and fumbles the ball on a run. Josh Allen's problem is I think he's so confident, which is great, in his ability. And I can throw 80 yards. I can throw as hard as anyone in the league. So that gives me the right to just try to think I can throw it in every coverage I want. Instead of like what he was doing in the beginning of the game, being patient, getting it to James Cook, getting it into the slot to Stephon Diggs. But the problem is Josh Allen gets way too impatient in the pocket, and he doesn't have that type of ability that Mahomes learned last year to take what is given. Mahomes has been doing that this last year. You're going to see him continue to do it. Get it to 7 different receivers. Get it underneath to Kelsey. He's not going to sit there and get happy feet and say, oh, I either got to run or, oh my goodness, I got to have a big play here. No. And I think Daboll leaving is somewhat of a problem too. I don't think it's a major problem because Ken Dorson was still his QB coach. So he should have knowing what the somewhat offense is going to be under Ken Dorson. So there's no excuse really for Josh Allen to keep making the same damn mistakes. And like I said, I would be more lenient towards, hey, it's week 1. He had a bad game. It's going to change. The Bills will still be a good team. They are not going to be a Super Bowl contender this year. Put that in the bank right now. So sorry, Buffalo. The window for you guys to win a championship, and that was that all I needed to see was from Buffalo, is Josh Allen doing the same type of shit. Their Super Bowl window has closed. The Super Bowl window has closed. I can promise you that. The Super Bowl window has closed. And going over to the Jets, you lose a guy. You lose a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I really thought that the Jets could have been a 12-5 team, been a really good team. Losing Aaron Rodgers, that's their season. A lot of people think they're going to go get Jameis or they're going to get Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is maybe an option, but you're not going to go get Jameis Winston, a guy who turns the ball over when Zach Wilson's already a guy who turns the ball over a decent amount. I saw Robert Salas's tweet. It looks like they're just going to go with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's going to be their guy. But, Andy Dalton's an option. There's some options out there they could try to trade with as a backup. Still give Zach Wilson an opportunity. But if it's not – because this could be such a good team. I really do feel bad for the Jets fans because this is a good team. They have such a good defense. They have a good run game. They have good receivers. And when you lose a guy like Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Fame guy, I don't know if he's going to come back next year or what. I don't think he's going to want to go out like that. That's a tough way to go out. It's a major motivator to try to get back out there and be the best quarterback you can be. But as right now, I don't know what's going through Aaron Rodgers' head. He's probably devastated that his season ends after just 4 snaps. But that'll do it for the Jets. I think the team that wins that division now is the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill torched the Chargers, which the same thing I think with the Chargers is the Dolphins did look good. I don't think the Dolphins, again, are going to be some second or third or even first seed. I think they come in at the 4th seed as a division winner because I don't think the Bills are going to do it, and I don't think the Jets can do it now. But I don't think Miami has the defense to hold up against some of these other AFC teams. The Chargers, to me, they don't know how. It's a new offensive coordinator. They got Kellen Mond, but it's the same check down Charlie type shit to Eckler for Justin Herbert. It is. And excuse my language, guys, but it is. It's the same shit over and over and over. They have good weapons around them. The Chargers just cannot find a way to be a complete team and go win big games, like versus the Dolphins. I really don't know too many games where I've seen the Chargers flat out just win versus good teams. I haven't. There's maybe a handful. I know they beat the Chiefs like 2 or 3 years ago, but there's not too many games you can look back and say like the Chargers have beaten this team that's significantly better than them or is just a really good ball club, and they just haven't done it. They haven't. They beat they're bullies. They beat the teams that are below them. I want to see them beat the teams that are better than them. I do. I want to see them be for real. I don't think the Chargers again. Everyone say, "Oh, the Chargers are a team in your division." I don't think so. I think the Chiefs may lose the Chargers at the end of the season because they're benching a bunch of guys. I'm going into another year where I don't fear the Chargers, and everyone every year tries to convince me that I should fear the Chargers. I don't see it. I think they run their offense like a cupcake offense. I just don't think they have the defense to keep up with the Chiefs and with some of these other elite teams. Raiders looked Broncos looked the same. I don't even know if it's a Nathaniel Hackett problem. Maybe just a Russell Wilson problem. They looked some of the other teams we played, the Patriots, I just don't think they have enough on offense. They're going to be very defensive heavy. Jacksonville's a big game coming up. I will personally be at that Jacksonville game coming up on Sunday. This is a big factor because Chris Jones will be back. Chris Jones will be back. He did not get an extension. So for those of you wondering, he did not get an extension. It just looks like they restructured his deal that he's already on right now. I hope Chris Jones is a Chief for life. I really do. I hope at the end of this offseason they can work out a deal. I don't think that'll happen. I think this could be Chris Jones' last season on the Kansas City Chiefs. But Chris Jones will play versus the Jags. And I think this is going to be a big game for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really do. I think the Kansas City Chiefs can win this game big. I'm not going to give my official game prediction. I'm going to have an episode tomorrow on Wednesday because Thursday through Sunday, we're going to be getting ready for that Jags game. I will be out of town in Jacksonville getting ready for that game. So you guys will see content along the way for me in Jacksonville. But I think this is going to be a big, big-time game for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if Chris Jones is going to be quite dominant, but I can promise you this. Kadarius Brick hands Tony. Kadarius Tony, he can't catch a cold. Oh, we talked all that blankety blank versus the Giants. I think the Chiefs go right to him early in this game. If it's on a sweep, if it's on a handoff, if it's on a short just pass, I think one of the first couple plays in this game, they're going to go to Kadarius Toney. And if he drops the ball or he screws up again, I almost had to put the earmuffs on for little kids. If he screws up again, you got to wash your hands clean from him. He's a guy you kind of rotating in. But I think Rashee Rice proved that he can go out there, get a lot of snaps last game. He can go out there and he can make big plays. I want to see more Justin Ross in the red zone. MVS, you got to get the ball to MVS more. I think he's such a big playmaker down the field. They hit him twice. He had 50 yards off 2 receptions. I think they got to try to find ways to get him the ball more. Kelsey will be back, I'm assuming. When you have Kelsey back, you have everyone back. I think the Chiefs are going to put up 40 points. I think the Chiefs put up 40 points. I'm not going to give you my score, but I think the Chiefs are going to put up 40 points. I'm going to talk a little bit more about just this Jags game this Wednesday. But those are most of the contenders we went up against this season. And again, you have a team in Baltimore as well who won yesterday, but they looked absolutely sloppy. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I was right about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was 100% right about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are not a for real team. They're not. Pittsburgh Steelers are not for real. I do not have any faith. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the playoff team. A lot of you guys hated my pick that Pittsburgh won't make the playoffs. But I will change my pick from the Jets out to the Browns in. I'm replacing the Jets with the Browns only because it's either going to be the Browns or Chargers. So I'm going to replace the Jets with either the Browns or the Chargers. And it probably could be the Chargers as well. But the Jets, I feel so bad for them. They're out. It's going to be hard to win with Zach Wilson. It really is, folks. I'll tell you who will not be hard to win with is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I had some doubts about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy looks great versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Him and Brandon Ayuk have a real connection. I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be that receiver one. Played absolutely phenomenal. Had 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. Shout out to Baker Mayfield, my guy Baker Mayfield. I'm a huge Sooners fan. Baker Mayfield getting it done versus the Minnesota Vikings, putting it to the man, telling everybody in the league he is not the worst quarterback in the league. He can go out there and win some games. And hey, who knows? There may be a sleeper to win that division. I'll be cheering for the Bucs all season long with Baker Mayfield, my guy. When you get Baker fired up, he can be a pretty good quarterback. So shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where everyone thought they were going to be a 3-4 win team. They got it done. I would not put it past the Vikings. The Vikings are in a tough position right now these next couple of games, but they can still win some games. They can still win some absolute games. But let me know what you guys think. Your takeaways from week 1. Who do you guys think? Do you guys think anything shifts on my predictions this season? Let me know what you guys think. Do the Jets go get a quarterback? I want all your guys' input and conversation in the comment section. So make sure you guys go do that. I will see you guys tomorrow on a Wednesday edition of the TPT podcast, getting ready for the Jacksonville Jaguars.